We're going to talk quarterbacks in just a moment because some more moves have been made in that department. But first, help us out. We are closing in on 21,000 subscribers, less than 200 away. So join one of the fastest growing Broncos YouTube communities out there and lock yourself in for the best free daily Broncos content. Let's talk about Denver potentially trading up for JJ McCarthy yet again. I know this is not a new story or anything like that, and I personally am getting a little bit bored of the JJ McCarthy chatter because we continue to talk about it, but we get new twists and turns, so I do feel like it's a good story to keep reminding and keep refreshing you guys on and keeping you up to date, because with free agency underway, as other teams fill their quarterback needs, well, that could increase or decrease the likelihood of Denver getting JJ McCarthy, right? Like how Atlanta got Kirk Cousins. They're not going quarterback at 8 anymore. So that could free up a potential trade destination for Denver. But first, I want to start by reminding you guys that Sam Darnold signed with the Minnesota Vikings. And right now it feels like it's between Minnesota and Denver for JJ McCarthy. I don't think the Vikings signing Sam Darnold eliminates them from getting JJ McCarthy. It's a 1-year, $10 million contract, so they could still very much draft JJ McCarthy, maybe make a change midseason, maybe even before the season gets underway if he's that good in the preseason. But then we also had Sam Howell just a few moments ago get traded from the Commanders to the Seahawks. So we have talked about Sam Howell before as a trade target for the Broncos. That's out of the question right now because Howell, a 4th and a 6th, are going to Seattle for a 3rd and a 5th going back to Washington. So yet another quarterback you can cross off the list. And if they continue to get crossed off and Denver still wants to add more to their quarterback room, well, if it's not going to be Caleb Williams, Drake May, or Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy is the next most likely candidate to be a Bronco. I also hope it's not going to be via free agency because there are no good free agent quarterbacks left. Yesterday, I was nice and I said Joe Flacco is still good, but then he signed with the Colts. So cross him off the list, and we're stuck with nothing. We're stuck with Colt McCoy, who said my elbow is not feeling right. That's encouraging. Ryan Tannehill and Jimmy Garoppolo played some of the worst football any quarterback played last year, and they're the best options. So I don't see Denver improving at all from Jarrett Stidham in free agency. Some of these guys might be a little bit on Stidham's level, but I don't see how adding any of those quarterbacks we just looked at improves this room. So if it's not going to be trade, because Sam Howell felt like the most likely trade target, because it's probably not going to be Justin Fields. That's not a good fit with Sean Payton. And it's not going to be free agency. There's only 3 places you can improve your roster externally. Trade, free agency, draft. So we land at the draft, where once again, Broncos legend Mark Schlereth, who hosts a AM sports radio show, he was on the Rich Eisen show, and he was talking about JJ McCarthy because he's very high on JJ. And I thought another quote would be worth sharing with all of you guys watching. Here's what he said. JJ McCarthy is one of one when it comes to being on the line of scrimmage, seeing the different personnel groupings. Being in charge at the line of scrimmage, like an NFL quarterback is in charge of the line of scrimmage. I think that's probably why he shot up draft boards. So if he was there, it wouldn't surprise me if Sean Payton would go in that direction. Now, I've got 2 thoughts because Mark Schlereth continues to talk about JJ McCarthy to Denver. One initial takeaway I have from now 2 podcasts, TV shows, interviews he's done is whenever he talks about JJ McCarthy, he talks about what's going on up here. He talks about how college football is a Mickey Mouse game where it's the same formation and the quarterback is always looking at the same receiver. And if that guy's not open, then you improv and you run around a little bit. And that does not translate well to the NFL. And that's completely true. However, at some point, I would like Mark Schlereth to talk a little bit about whether or not JJ McCarthy has good physical traits, right? Does he have a great arm? Can he make accurate downfield throws? Because there are a lot of smart people in the league. And a lot of them are like Nathan Peterman. And they're a great backup, but they're not a starter. So I do want to hear a little bit more about, okay, he can deliver a play call. He can run a pro-style offense. He can make changes at the line of scrimmage. But can he make a tough 3rd and 13 throw to move the chains? You see what I'm saying? Second thought I have is he really emphasized the contrast from college football to the NFL. This is twice now where he has been very open and honest about how much he kind of dislikes watching college football because it's so Mickey Mousey. And listen, I get that, but there's a lot of quarterbacks that have played in these Mickey Mousey type offenses and had great success in the NFL. Are we going to act like Lamar Jackson was running an awesome offense at Louisville? No. He was just a super athletic guy, and that carried very well over to the National Football League, right? What do you think Texas Tech was doing with Patrick Mahomes? You think they were running a pro-style offense with Cliff Kingsbury? No. So I do feel like there is a little bit of truth to, sure, JJ McCarthy is one of one in this draft class when it comes to running a pro-style offense. But if you can't throw a football, the other guys can learn how to run a pro-style offense over the course of a summer and training camp, hopefully. Maybe a first month of the year. But it's tough to learn how to throw down the field accurately in the NFL. Now, there's no mistake that JJ McCarthy is one thing for sure, and that's a winner. The guy has not lost much at all since high school, winning state championships, I believe, chips in Illinois, and then going to Michigan and losing one game as a starter through 2 seasons. But what I want to take a closer look at was some of the deep analytics, because we can look at 2,900 yards and go, okay, other guy threw for 3,500. That means he's better than J.J. McCarthy. But I kind of want to look at, like, where were those yards? So I went to Pro Football Focus, which is a good source, but it's not the only way to evaluate players. Keep that in mind. And what I looked at was, where are J.J. McCarthy's passes going, right? And you can see from behind the line of scrimmage to 20-plus yards, he only threw 44 passes beyond 20 yards, according to Pro Football Focus. He completed a little over half of them. That's really good. Those are tough passes to complete, all right? But it didn't really wow me with like the lack of usage in the deep plus 20 yards. There's just not a lot of film down there. Now, another quarterback that I've seen mocked to Denver a bunch is Bo Nix. This may not do Bo Nix a lot of favors. Look at Bo Nix's pass attempts behind the line of scrimmage or 0 to 9 yards. 110 and then 157. For comparison, look at JJ McCarthy's behind the line of scrimmage, 30. So one guy really benefited from a system in which he had great running backs and receivers, and the offense asked him to just check it down, and he did well in that offense. And maybe that's going to win him a lot of brownie points with Sean Payton, because he is looking for a quarterback that can win within his offense. But look at the deep passes. Bo Nix completed 52% for 847 yards and 12 touchdowns. We rip on JJ McCarthy, and I'm a part of this too, for not going deep enough. He completed 54% of his passes beyond 20 yards for 669 yards and 10 touchdowns. He also did it in, fewer pass attempts than same amount of pass attempts than Bo Nix. So I think there is some truth to put J.J. McCarthy in an offense that asks him to throw the ball deep down the field a little bit more, and you're really going to like the results you're going to find. Whereas at Michigan, they had awesome running backs and Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum, so they didn't feel the need to ask J.J. McCarthy to rip the ball down the field a whole lot. But when he gets to the NFL, there's a good chance he may be finding himself in that position, and given more usage, he can really thrive. So this is more of a note for myself and you watching, J.J. McCarthy may not have done a whole lot at Michigan, but when he was called upon, he did deliver. Now, let's talk about trading up for J.J., because I think we're going to see quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3. So the Cardinals at 4 are not going quarterback. Neither are the Chargers. You're not trading with L.A. The Chargers wouldn't let you do that, especially Jim Harbaugh. Can you imagine Jim Harbaugh trading within the division to let J.J. McCarthy go to the Broncos? Not happening. Now, the Giants I'm not so sure about, but the Titans, they are confident with Will Levis. The Falcons and Bears at 8 and 9 have my attention. Atlanta is going with Kirk Cousins. Chicago's picking Caleb Williams. So, could one of those two teams maybe be in Denver's range to be an affordable trade-up option? And the same goes for the Vikings, picking one spot ahead of Denver. I think we're going to see Denver and Minnesota battle like hell to trade up with either Atlanta or Chicago. Maybe one of those teams goes a little bit more aggressive and goes all the way to Tennessee or New York. But if they don't feel like one of those two teams is going to take a quarterback, then they won't move up further than necessarily have to, because that's going to cost them more draft ammunition. So I'm thinking about this trade idea. What about the Broncos give the Bears a call at pick number 12 or pick number 9, and they swap first rounders, and Denver surrenders their third round pick? So this would leave the Broncos with the 9th overall pick in the draft, nothing in round 2, nothing in round 3. But if they want to jump Minnesota one spot ahead of them, it's going to cost you a little bit. And I think about whether or not the Bears would trade with the Broncos or the Vikings, right? Why would Chicago agree to a trade that would give Minnesota potentially their franchise quarterback? Wouldn't they rather see that guy go to the AFC West and they only have to deal with him once every 4 years compared to twice a season? So I think there's a much better chance that Chicago will be willing to trade with Denver over Minnesota. So let me know, would you trade up for JJ McCarthy? Do you think he is a prospect worthy of giving up more assets, which Denver is currently a bit short of, to get the quarterback of the future? For me, the question becomes, how patient does Sean Payton want to be? Does he want an answer to the quarterback problem now? Or can he wait a year? Can he roll with Jarrett Stidham if he doesn't feel like JJ McCarthy is really all that, where he has to trade up and get him, right? I'm sure there'll be a lot of intrigue at pick number 12 if he falls there. But do they love him, so much that they'll trade their lone day 2 pick to go get him? Or would they rather just move back in the draft and get some more draft picks? We'll find out how patient Sean Payton really is. Some news I want to relay, by the way. This came out yesterday afternoon. The Russell Wilson release is official. And they also announced where the dead cap hits are going to be spread to. So wisely, Denver is taking on $53 million in dead money for 2024 and only $32 million in 2025. That 32 just by itself, by the way, I think that would be third all time in NFL history. I believe first is Matt Ryan. Before this all went down, first was Matt Ryan going to the Colts. Second, I think, was Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. And then third was Russell Wilson to Denver, but that was like $26 million. I think this might be third all time. That's just 1 year. Put these together, we're quadrupling first and second. So Denver leaves themselves some more spending money next offseason when they have to have money to spend because they will need to extend guys like Patrick Surtain and Quinn Miners. To recap free agency, by the way, if you have been busy at work all week and you need to know what Denver's been up to, it's not a long list. They brought in Brandon Jones, who unfortunately, Miami Dolphins safety, he arrives at Denver in the middle of March in one of the biggest snowstorms. That's not a great look right there. I hope he did not get cold feet about signing that contract. 3-year, $20 million contract to replace Justin Simmons at a much cheaper rate. Will Lutz changed his mind. He is staying in Denver. Michael Burton's back. Malcolm Roach, 2-year, $7 million deal to replace Mike Purcell / Christian Harris. Plus, he played with the Saints. And then Lil Jordan Humphrey, he's back on a 1-year deal. So overall, I did not expect Denver to be big spenders. Even if they didn't have the Russell Wilson dead cap hit, they spent a lot of money last offseason. And there's usually a balance to teams spend a lot of money in this year, then the next year it goes down, then it goes back up, then it goes back down, because they satisfied a lot of their needs the previous offseason with all that spending. They don't need to spend big again this offseason, right? All right, that will do it for us on this edition of the Broncos Breakdown. I hope you enjoyed our analysis of JJ McCarthy and Bo Nix as 2 options for Denver. And if you did, consider subscribing to the channel.